A group of researchers got together to answer the question, how do we know when people are married? The results were hilarious. Children in particular associated being married with having conflict. Is that funny or what? They basically said something like, if they're arguing, they're probably married. How intuitive. So if we want to be at a point in our marriages where we're actually solving problems, not just arguing, I want to give you some strategies that will help you do just that. You ready? Number one, you need to fight fair. I want to be the first to tell you that if you're married and you're spending 30, 40, 50 years together, you're gonna have some conflict. It's unrealistic to think that a healthy couple is not ever gonna have any disagreements. So as a matter of fact, you want disagreements. That makes sure that both people are showing up and being honest and really getting what's on their heart out on the table. But the issue is that conflict is usually associated with this negative anger. And it's important that you don't give anger any power in your marriage and in your relationship. Here's how anger kind of comes in and messes everything up. Let me give you an example. Your husband comes in late to your son's birthday party and basically you're ticked. He's done it again. You're angry. Your husband's behavior hurt you and it hurt your son. How are you going to respond to that? I'll give you a couple unhealthy responses. One is an aggressive response, and it's saying something like, man, I can't believe you did this again. You are crazy. What a jerk move. It's pretty aggressive. You're now calling him a name. You're doing things that you're going to regret later. Other people aren't quite as aggressive. Sometimes they're passive aggressive, right? That means that they're going to log that anger. They're not really going to say much in the moment, but later on when he does something that's benign, maybe a week later or a day later or a month later, you're going to bring it up, and man, you're going to come right at him when he brings in the mail wrong or breathes wrong. So our goal in all of this is to make sure that we have an intuitive way of expressing ourselves in healthy ways that focus on people's behavior, not on how messed up they are as people. Johnny, he wanted you here at this party. So did I. And I'm just worried that we're not prioritizing our family the way we've talked about. That's a good, healthy response, right? It's not focused on other people and how messed up they are or how you want to kind of attack them as a human. It's focused on your emotion, getting what's on your heart out on the table. Now, the goal of this fight, the goal of this conflict is for you to be vulnerable and ultimately to speak the truth in love. That is the scriptural principle. Speak the truth, be honest, frank, open, but do it in a loving, warm way. You've got to fight fair. Number two, the second strategy that you want to implement to make sure that you're solving problems and not getting angry is fight with a plan. Let me tell you what I mean by that. If you're ever going to solve problems, you have to have sort of an organized understanding of what this conversation is going to sound like. I recommend people start with, number one, listening. Like, you've got to start with listening to your spouse. Seek first to understand. That's an awesome principle that if you can implement in your marriage and in your conflict, you will never be disappointed with the outcome. So number one, listen, listen, listen. Try to truly understand what's going on inside their heart and inside their mind. Number two, you've got to come up with all the possible solutions. Get a piece of paper, write down on that piece of paper all the possible solutions to the problem. In the situation I mentioned earlier, you might say, we have birthday parties only on the weekends when you don't work, or we plan on you not even coming to birthday parties. That's a crazy solution, but it's actually a solution. You get them all down on paper. Then, number three, you step back as a couple and you say, okay, let's find some obvious solutions that are on this piece of paper that could potentially be something that we go with that's a solution for this problem. Now, this is where it gets tough because you got to compromise. You've got to be willing to say, I'm going to give a little bit, you're going to give a little bit, and we're going to come to the middle here and find something that's healthy for everybody. Now, it's important to recognize that whoever is the expert in this domain of your life as a couple together, that's the person that probably needs to make the deal breaker decision during an impasse. So if you're horrible with money, don't make the final financial decisions, right? If you're horrible with, things and details around the house, don't make the final decisions there. That's when you defer to your spouse. But that's a lot easier when you have number four coming. Number four is you set a time right then, right there to reevaluate your decision. It's a lot easier to commit to something if you know that I'm only committing to this for a week or a month or 6 weeks. And then at that appointment, you put that appointment on your calendar, you protect that appointment, and you guys come back together and you say, okay, let's re-talk this whole thing through and let's go through every point again. Listen and brainstorm, make it, how's this decision working? And if you're willing to kind of circle back, address your solutions, change the solution if it's not working for everybody, my commitment to you is you will find that you're actually solving problems, not just fighting and arguing. So remember, if you want to make sure that you aren't just recycling the same argument over and over again, and you're actually solving problems, fight fair, fight with a plan.